So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Rockstar Nation, this is Aaron Amuchastegui. Happy beginning of April. That means we officially have finished the first quarter of 2021. We have hit and passed our 1-year anniversary of the day or the week or the time that the world changed, the time that everything changed in the US. It was a year ago that I remember I was on vacation and I came home from vacation early because they were about to shut down the world. And so now it's been a year, a lot has changed. You know, this month in March, this is one of those special episodes where I go through and you get to listen to just my favorite 5 minutes from each of the episode interviews that we did in March. So you guys can listen to them. It's a really cool crash course, Cliff Notes way to get a lot of fun learning done in just a short period of time, in about 30 minutes. And it'll help you figure out if you want to go back and re-listen to any of the podcasts that we happened to do previously. All right, here we go. First up was episode 957, Giving Value and Getting Business, Community Highlights with Brad Abernathy. Listen to a few minutes of his interview right here. So Brad, tell me about the Faces of project.
In 2015, I started a little project, and what it was I got offered a high school senior that needed to intern with us free of charge. And so she needed a marketing project to work on. And so we didn't have one. And within 3 days, we brainstormed a lot and created this project. We decided that we're working so hard showing our town and our community and showing why it's so much better than other towns or communities that people might be wanting to move to. We decided that our communities, more than the streets and the buildings and the schools and the jobs and healthcare, our community is really defined by the people here. What we'd hoped for was that it would build more visibility on our website. Our website had 568 people per month on it back in 2015. And at a few months after we started this project, we had 4,000 people a month on our website. The next year we had 5 or 6. We were up to between 7,000 and 8,000 people per month on our website. And we live in a town of 40,000 people. And so our visibility exploded.
That's great. So you live in a town of 40,000 people, but 8,000 people are seeing the site now. It looks like what's unique about yours is it's a website. It's its own thing. People don't need to be on Facebook or YouTube to see it. They get to come back and get more info, and then it easily ties in with the other stuff you're doing. I think
we believe that the website is the asset. We don't know if Facebook's going to be around in 10 years, and we don't know if YouTube's going to be around in 10 years, or we don't know if the next thing is going to be around. But what we do know is that the website's going to be there. So we started putting them on the website, but we'll share the links out to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and other places. Now fast forward, we have 105 partners in 27 different states and one other country right now that have found out about this, and they're doing this whole community project in their community. Last year, all across the country, the high school seniors couldn't walk, in graduations because of COVID. One of our partners in Texas decided that she said, I'm going to interview all the seniors and show them there so that their grandparents can be proud and see. And so she shared that with all the partners for the Faces of. And so I think about out of 100 or so partners, I bet 70 or 80 of our partners instituted something like that last summer, where they spent a lot of time interviewing high school seniors and where you're going to go to college and what are you going to do with your life. And I tell you that I always feel like people need 4 things in life. They need food, they need water, they need shelter, and they need attention. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be the one that gives them attention, they'll love you forever, and their grandparents will love you forever, and their parents will love you forever. So we believe that we're growing our sphere of influence in a little bit of a molecular way, where if we reach way over here and touch this person's life, then the immediate surrounding sphere of influence of that person is going to recognize us for doing it too. Okay, and if you like that one, remember that was episode 957. Here we go. Here's up next, episode 958. Why not to wait for a buyer's market with Rebecca Rains. This was a really interesting interview too. She talked about we've been waiting for a crash forever.
and she's been around in real estate for a long time, and maybe that is not what we're about to see. So here's a few minutes of that interview.
So if you're gonna have one pitch for how to succeed in 2021, what would you say?
I'm a firm believer in that we create our realities by the way the way we think, the way we perceive our situations. And so as long as my agents are staying positive and they can then turn around and be the cheerleader for when maybe our buyers or sellers are feeling a little dismayed. Today's market, let's not joke. Every seller, for the most part, can sell their house for more than they ever dreamed. And they're not too sad, but those sellers a lot of times are also buyers because in order to sell, they have to go find something. And so, they're also in the same boat as a lot of buyers are going through today, and they get it and they get frustrated and they get upset. And a lot of them just want to take their ball and go home. You can't let them do that because personally, in my belief, after 28 years of watching this business change every year, all the time, is that we don't know what's on the horizon, but we've been so low with interest rates for so long. There's really only one place that they can go. And everything I'm reading too, the demand is not going to slow down for us here in Arizona. I know Texas is another state that has huge demand as well. So when we're so short on housing for the amount of people moving here, there's only one place for it to go. So let's hurry up and help our clients, stay in the game, don't get disgruntled, and you'll get them a house if you just dig your heels in and persevere.
Right. Imagine prices going up and interest rates going up, right? So you're telling me they're worried about prices going up or I can't afford this. You go, you really won't be able to afford it 6 months from now. Yeah, so
I basically had to say that to them, a client that just the other day. I'm like, I know it's tough right now, but what you're looking at today is still better than what you're going to be looking at tomorrow if you put this off because you're frustrated today. Well, even last year when COVID very first hit, they were expecting this big bubble, this big crash, and there's been no bubble or no crash. I mean, we've been hearing about a bubble and a crash for years now, and in fact, all that's happened is the prices continue to go up as interest rates have come down. But again, rates are so low. I don't know. I feel like we've hit the floor. And I think trying to time the market is near to impossible. So when people say that they want to wait till it's like I actually just did a podcast on this the other day, why not to wait until it's a buyer's market? Because guess what? When it's a buyer's market, that means whatever you buy today could very well go down in value tomorrow. That's why it's a buyer's market.
Okay, if you liked that one, remember that was episode 958. Next up, here's a few minutes of episode 959. This is the Rainmaker Model, how to scale your business as being the main agent with assistants. This is Spencer Sue. He's out of the Bay Area, longtime Real Estate Rockstars podcast listener. Let's listen in right here.
And actually, the reason why I went even the solo route was if I'm making, in this case, quite a bit of money as net profit, I can do whatever I want with that money. I can save, I can use it for marketing to keep bolstering the brand. I can invest in other things. I can invest in real estate. I can invest in the stock market. You can do whatever you want with it. So people need to understand the finance health of a business, right? That's number one. They also need to understand at the end of the day, the marketing is from the individual. People trust the individual, not the brand. You can be a Compass, you can be a Sotheby's, you can be an EXP. At the end of the day, they trust the individual, and you would hope they would trust the individual because that's the person that they're going to battle with. And so, my brand in my case is the tech realtor of the Bay Area. That's who I want to target. That's my focus. And I can have my marketing all kind of geared towards that. And so I think people need to understand from their own business perspective, take a look at your own model. How much are you paying for commissions? How much are you paying for your brokerage? And how much value are you truly getting back? Like, take the brand out of it because the brand is yourself. Understand that.
I love just the reminder to take a look at your business plan right now and make sure that it's the business plan that you want and make sure that it's working for you and be able to make some adjustments.
Really appreciate the opportunity to be on this show. It's always kind of surreal because, as you can imagine, it's been a short time. I still listen to you guys, especially as I drive. I think a lot of people need to use that as an opportunity to listen and learn things. I don't actually have a direct mentor, but these podcasts and the different people that come on the show, my suggestion to everybody, and this is what I've done, is I always listen to the shows that are relevant to me and where I'm at. I listen to it, and then I take different nuggets of how can I implement those things that they're doing well into their business. So whoever's listening to the show, take action, because we're not here just to watch shows indefinitely. I think that's actually a waste of time on one end, because you're just wasting time if you're not actually executing. It's all about the execution. All of these ideas have always been out there, but people are just listening and just tuning in. And that's the advantage that everyone should take, is find a few nuggets of this particular episode or every episode, see how you can apply to your business and game, and then execute, do it consistently for a long time. And then I think you'll see a lot of great results. And that's actually how I got to this level. And one maybe last little nugget, you asked, what are my goals for this year? So as I mentioned, it was a crazy trajectory, right? First year, 8 deals, $9.5 million. Second year, 35 deals, $43 million. This year, I want to double that. So I want to do 70 deals, over $80 million. As of right now, we're kind of in first, I don't know, maybe mid-February, if I can say that. Yeah. I've done already 9 deals for, I think, I don't know, 14 million already.
Man.
Right? So we're just getting started, because the reality is the trajectory, as you can see, is just getting started. So that gives you kind of a sense of where I'm coming from, my approach. I work a ton. Everybody should work hard, but there needs to be a strategy and a discipline that you just kind of keep focusing on a few key areas. And everybody has a chance to do very, very well in this business.
All right. That was episode 959 from Spencer Sue on the Rainmaker Model. Next up, episode 960. Here's a few minutes from the interview with Dewey Gloob. One pivot had a huge impact on this team's profitability. Happened a year ago. Listen in.
We had this really, really complicated, built out team structure model, big office culture, 3 offices, everybody in the office every day, lots of trainings, everybody had a specialty. We're doing all these things. We have coaching clients. We're humming on every cylinder, to the point where if there's a disruption and like something stops firing, all of a sudden everything else started to fire off, right? And it's like, we might have built something that's too complicated. We might be overthinking this. And so Angie and I both have young children, and we both became school teachers at the beginning of COVID, right? And all of a sudden, we had a culture problem. And we had 2 different cultures going on the team. Those that were running scared and urgent. And I was in the scared pack. And I come from abundance. I don't come from fear, but I'm also smart and I have children. Let's buckle down, double down, cut the P&L, work harder, work faster, work smarter. And that just didn't work for 2/3 of the team. But we dropped down to 2 full-time sales agents out of 7. And then I ramped up my selling, and then Angie, everybody on the team, all the admin generally on my team have licenses. So then Angie started selling, and we still closed 53 million. Honestly, but we did all the other correct things, right? Like we attacked the P&L. We were working smarter, not harder. The profit margin went way up, like by 6%. We went from like low 20s to high 20s. And the actual dollar profit was more than I've ever made in 17 years. And now we're tighter and closer together. And we've attracted, somehow our frequency just changed. We've hired up. We've got 4 new agents on the team, and they are all so much more the culture that we thought we had. And everybody is just totally having a good time, which is fun.
Real Estate Rockstars, this is a commercial break from our biggest podcast sponsor we have right now, RentRedi. It can be fun getting a new real estate deal, but it can be tough managing your properties after the fact, especially if you're long distance investing or trying to manage multiple properties by yourself. That's why we're here to tell you about RentRedi. RentRedi is a property management software that not only makes it easier to manage all your real estate deals from one platform, but they also have the best customer service support in the biz. They're an all-in-one app that lets you easily manage properties, collect rent, list units, screen tenants, sign leases, all from your phone or computer. Imagine all of your real estate doors right in your pocket. How awesome is that? The best part is it's so affordable, one flat price for everything. Unlimited properties, tenants, and support with a real live human. And I have to add in there, that's a new business model that not a lot of people are doing. There's like this freemium model where people say, hey, you can try this, but as soon as you grow, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Or they kind of punish you when you get too many emails on your list or too many comments. They aren't going to punish you when you grow. They're not going to charge you more when you get 10, 20, 30 rentals. They're going to charge you the same when you have 2 or 3 as they will when you have 50 or 60. So you have a nice fixed cost, all software, all in one place. Check it out, RentRedi, RentRedi.com.
And if that's not enough, Rent Ready is giving our listeners a special code you can use to get a whole year of Rent Ready for just $54. Use code ROCKSTAR50. That's Rockstar50, and sign up for Rent Ready's annual plan at rentready.com. Again, RENTREDI.com with code Rockstar50 to get Rent Ready for only $54. What's the number one way people can succeed in 2021? The agents can succeed in 2021.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to get creative, right? I hate these type of markets because they take away your professional advantage, right? Whoever gets there first with the biggest checkbook wins is not a professional. So you just got to find a different way to do what you're doing, whatever your specialty is. If you're looking for listings, or if you've got a buyer, you should circle prospect for an off-market deal. The list is long, but the answer is, if you do what everybody else is doing when you're in a market where there's double-digit offers on every listing, you're not doing anything.
All right, that was a few minutes of episode 960. Next up, here's a few minutes of my interview with John Clyde, episode 961, how he left six figures for a real estate career. He's a state trooper, and how he's become just a great real estate agent, leading huge departments in Keller Williams.
I think wherever we are in our lives, if we're leaders of our businesses, if our clients are looking to us, wherever it is, they're going to be looking at us to go, is everything okay?
When the people that are leading the whatever it is, when they're falling apart, everyone falls apart, right? That's game over. Your president, you name it, whoever that is. It just is a whole effect on people, and the more leadership you have, the more people you lead, the worse it could be, right? And for me, 10,000 people are like, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to stand up and like with social equity? I'm the national, I'm the co-chair for all of Keller Williams around social equity, and Gary Keller, we went right at it, as a company, and we have a task force of a bunch of incredible leaders throughout the country that are really passionate about equity. And, we just went at it. We don't play, we just went right at it. And, we've already accomplished things that we haven't done in the 30 some year history of our company. We did in like 8 months.
Yeah.
So.
Jumping in as that leader and taking on the tough stuff. And when they get to look up to you and say, what's John going to do? And people are watching no matter where we are in our lives on how we act. And I think that's probably one of my big reminders from 2020 for agents in 2021. What do you think what's the secret for the average agent to succeed in 2021? What should they expect? What should they be planning on? How should they do this?
What I would say is, listing inventory is down, everyone's saying across the country. So what's that mean is you got to knock on doors, you got to send letters, you got to go and find listings, and they might not come find you now, right? That's the difference. If people know that they can get 20% more return on their house, or if they really knew what their house was worth, and the rates are so low. I mean, anybody can buy now and get a great low rate. So there's a lot of positives of being a realtor today, a new realtor today. But the main thing that I found out about the realtor was, their time block is still the problem with all of us, right? Leaders and especially with newer agents. So what I seen was their calendar didn't match their goals. And I would say for any newer agent is, when you are going to go and do any business, is what's your calendar say you're doing? And who's holding you accountable to do that, right? And most of the time I see it doesn't match. It's not an alignment between their calendar, their goals, and their plan. Nothing is matched. So, I think you got to get in sync to what the heck you're doing. Why are you doing it? How much do you want to make? Go backwards, take the numbers and how many appointments or, how many calls you need to make and all that, and truly know what it is. And then your phone should tell you, okay, there's your calendar. What am I doing from 9 to 11? What am I doing? Whatever, put your lunch in there and all that. But what are you going to do to actually hit that goal? And if for a new agent, it might be a lot of calls because you're not going to have a lot of appointments. So it's just a lot of calls up front. And then hopefully in your next, your next 90, your first 90 is more getting established, getting set up. Your second half of your 90 is going to be now appointments, right? So you're going to not have as much call time. Now you have appointment time. And then the next phase, you're going to have, hopefully even more appointments, less time to do that. But now you're going to start the trend to have more business. You got to probably be even more detailed with your time block. So I think it's it's really simple. It's just really having a plan and time blocking to actually do what your plan says.
So what advice would you give to your agents when they say, John, how do I get my offer accepted? Everybody is submitting 20, 30 offers on a property. What's the secret to getting accepted? I get messaged this almost every day from people on Instagram or email on any of their social media. Is just saying, hey, Aaron, I'm a buyer's agent. I used to do 3 or 4 deals a month, and now I'm lucky if I get one. How do I get my offer accepted?
So when you think about an offer, what's going to make yours stand out over 30 other offers? And that's where you got to be creative, whether it be a letter of, how incredible your buyer is, whether it be something creative that forces their hand that, whatever the number is will go up 1% or 2%, whatever that is that your real estate area allows you to do ethically. You gotta make yourself stand out so you or your client look like it's a no-brainer. Because if not, then you're just like everybody else.
All right, if you like that one, go back and listen to the rest of episode 961 with my friend John Clyde. Here we go. Next, episode 962, How to Succeed as a Small Town Solo Agent with Sarah Allen.
So now you've done a bunch of transactions, a bunch of volume. What was something you wish you would have known that first year when you just got started?
So honestly, there's a few different things. I am very much I push myself to work really, really hard, and I motivate myself. I'm a self-motivated person. I've played golf my whole life. So I needed to go out, practice alone, practice that mentality. So I fall into that really well. But I also fall into being a perfectionist. And I want to say, it's okay. It's okay to lose a listing. It's okay to feel burned out, to take a step back, to relax a little bit, readjust your plans, readjust your goals, and just keep moving forward. I guess it would be fail forward, as everyone says. So that would be a really big piece of advice that I would give a new agent who's very similar to me and just wants it all right off the bat and is willing to do everything. And then another piece of advice would be to really plan, set a goal, break that down into very manageable items and step-by-step processes, and then follow through with that. You really need to, find a system that's going to work with your goal. You're going to follow that system to a T, and then you're going to follow up with it and make sure that you did follow that system, figure out where maybe you lacked a little bit, maybe an area that you really loved, and what was the return on that, and then repeat it.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite system?
Yes, it's just winging it. No. Yeah. Honestly, my favorite system is just exactly what I said, kind of that 3F system where you find a system that you really like and follow through with it and execute and then follow up on whether or not you did it well enough and it was a great system. I also really I'm a huge goal setter, and I really enjoy reaching those goals and knowing that whatever I did today or whatever I'm going to do tomorrow put me a step closer to that end goal that I have. And I would say that's probably my biggest system that helps me continue moving forward and continue doing the steps that I need to take to reach whatever I'm trying to get to.
Yeah. So what about your number one way to succeed in 2021? So is there anything you're going to do different or that you would tell agents right now, like this is what you need to do and expect this next year compared to last year?
Our market here in Prescott is pretty saturated with agents. So it's, I would say, finding your niche and really focusing on that niche and marketing yourself towards it. I have decided to really dive into more video, as I mentioned earlier, and it has gotten a huge return, just even the short amount of time that I have been doing it. And I just really want to focus on that because that's something our market is not doing here in Prescott. And I think it could bring a lot of value. So that's something that I personally am going to be doing. And maybe it's doing an evaluation of where your market is and saying, okay, what are we missing? And is that something that I can fill? And can I fill it well? And just try it out. Just shotgun method. Just find an opportunity and shoot and see if it sticks.
All right, that was episode 962. Next up, episode 963, 2021's Best Real Estate Leads, creating your own Facebook group with Will Penny.
What I did, I started doing some research on groups, private Facebook groups, because I'm a member of a couple of ultra running groups and some real estate groups. And I thought every time they make a post in that group, I'm going to see it. So I started doing some research and I realized that Facebook actually is encouraging groups. They're throwing all of their weight behind groups because they know that the average Facebook user stays on Facebook about 38 minutes. But if you're a member of a group, you're going to stay on about 28 minutes longer. So roughly an hour. I started a group in November. I started inviting, first what I did, I've got a team of 5. I invited all of them in. I told them to invite all of their friends and family to their group who wasn't a realtor. No realtors in our group. I then started telling them, and myself included, to start friend requesting clients, because 60% of adults in the United States are on Facebook, and about 70% of those are on Facebook daily. So I thought they're more than likely, most of our clients are going to be on Facebook already. And sure enough, they were. So we send them a friend request, and then we invite them into the group. Okay. So now, as of today, we've got about 640 members. These are 640 human beings that know, like, and trust us. And now we post there every day. I spent over 100 hours this year. I wanted to work on getting that Facebook group dialed in, because the more I read about it and the more I researched, a well-run private Facebook group is like a social CRM. There's no easier way or more direct way to stay in front of people that know, like, and trust you than a Facebook group, because it's the platform that they're on most of the day anyway. And Facebook encourages groups. So if you post in the group, everyone of your members is going to see it. And ours is called Penny Real Estate Friends and Family. So I spent dozens of hours creating and looking up the best way to engage with people in a group and creating content to accommodate that. And then I started posting every day. And unlike our business page posts, where we get like 2 or 3 likes and maybe a reach of 16 or 30 people, the reach now is 100% on most posts, meaning that 100% or more of the people in the members in the group are actually seeing our posts, meaning they stop and they look at it. They may not engage, but they'll at least see it. And it says Penny Real Estate Friends and Family. So that's an image that they see. And we're getting 30, 40, 50, 80 comments on our posts. So we've turned our page, our group, into a social CRM, and we're a client, like a daily client event. And we're engaging with those people every day because the content that I'm posting is so good.
So coming up this year, like what's the one thing, if you're going to say, hey, what's one thing I can focus on, Will, to succeed this year? What would it be?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I think the biggest thing is just, I'm afraid to even say it. Just go through your contact list on your phone and start. Tom Ferry says it, start at the back and just start reaching out to people. You're going to find someone. It's really not that hard. We can be transactional agents and go find leads, or we can just try to be efficient and have the largest network of people that we possibly can. And a lot of that can be done right on your phone, just by shooting a text or making a phone call. And this time of year, especially, and don't mention real estate, just check in with someone. You're going to find somebody and they say, oh yeah, my sister wants to move. That's what happens to me every time I text or call my past clients.
Yeah. How about last question? Any predictions for the end of the year? What's anything that's going to happen? Anything that you're thinking might happen that you're counting on?
I'm afraid to make any predictions because none of us could have predicted 2020. I'm just trying to keep my eye on the ball, do what I'm good at, stay in my lane, and don't take anything for granted.
Dude, I tell you what, that your predictions turned into the way someone can survive in 2021 right there. Focus, not take an eye on the ball, don't take anything for granted. I love what you just finished with there, Will.
All right. And if you want to hear more from Will, he's been on our podcast several times, but in March, it was episode 963. Go back and listen to some more. Next up, episode 964. This was the last episode in March. This was with my friend Jimmy Torres, how to make more, work less, how to schedule for success. Here's a few minutes of that one.
So what do you think the number one way to succeed in 2021 is for people?
I would say get on a schedule. I mean, I think we're talking about that right now. About 4 years ago, we went to a real estate conference, a mastermind conference in Vegas. And I was running ragged, man. I was any deal I could get my hands on, any listing, any buyer. I was still working 7 days a week as an owner. And again, kind of lost that focus. I learned about schedules and learning about, putting your family first. And so I quit working on Sundays, and I really don't work on Saturdays unless it's about appointment or unless it's texting you because you wear me out when you answer your phone. But set a schedule, and that goes with on Monday through Friday, getting your butt to the office and actually being accountable and doing your job. Because or go to the office, go to Starbucks, find your time to work. Don't get caught up with all the side things that you can be doing, paying bills, cleaning house, doing laundry. Make a schedule, because real estate's a job. And I think that's where a lot of the agents get lost, is they find that freedom and they go work out and they go run some errands.
Yeah, freedom to make their own schedule.
It's easier to put that stuff on the back burner. But I would say 2021, set a schedule, stick to it, because that changed my life. That mastermind conference changed my life. I started making more money working less after I went to that conference.
That is awesome advice. Set that schedule, because it's when we're allowed to make our own schedule. And in 2020, it got even crazier, right? Because now people could be doing laundry when they're supposed to be working. They could be like everything. So even for employees, the world has been so meshed now. So setting a schedule, I remember telling people when it first started, like employees, like, you should still wake up at this time and you should still shower. You should still shower and get dressed for the day. Like, I know you don't have to. And I also know why people wouldn't, but still it's a mindset thing of like get dressed you're going to an office just so you feel the part. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. Because, it's hard to fight through this stuff, but still follow your routine, because just because we don't feel like getting up and doing all those things that we would normally do doesn't mean that people's lives have to stop. That people are still buying their house. There's still a process that has to happen. There's things that have to, keep moving forward. And I think, set your schedule and make sure you stick to that.
Yeah. Any last things you want to tell the listeners out there, mostly newer agents or people on it could be newer agents to get started. It could be how to go from 10 deals to 100 deals, anything that you really love sharing.
Yeah, I would say, a couple things. Don't take anything for granted. Just because someone's buying their first home and it's a $75,000 or $90,000 fixer upper, don't take those people for granted. I think times are good and people forget about that. I think every deal is important, and work every deal like it does mean something to you. And again, the schedule, to me, I think the schedule is such a big deal, because you can ask anyone that works for me. They know what my schedule is every single day. It does not stray. And keep grinding. Don't get discouraged. It's going to be a tough fight till we, get through this traffic jam. But that's the biggest thing.
I love that. Find a schedule, stick to your schedule, keep going. And I think my favorite thing you said is don't take anyone for granted.
That was a great interview. As a reminder, if you want to hear more of that one, that's going to be episode 964 with Jimmy Torres. Real Estate Rockstars, Rockstar Nation, all of our listeners, I want you guys to know I appreciate all of you guys so much. I love it when we get comments. I love when you guys go get me reviews. I love when you come find me on Instagram and you ask me questions and tell me who I should be interviewing. I absolutely love it when you guys reach out and say, hey, I'm an agent and I can't wait to get on the show. Here's what I've been doing. And we talk about that. And so many of you have reached out and you're now scheduled on the show. And it's going to be a really, really exciting April with some of the ones that we have. So hopefully you like the best of March. You've got a few days now. You've got the weekend to go back and re-listen to any of those ones that you really liked, that you wish you hadn't missed. And we come back next week, you're going to have plenty of new content for all of our April agents. Real Estate Rockstars, thanks for listening. All right, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Muchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one. And I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have. And also, we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate, how to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com.
And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in 2 different places. It's at RERrockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronamuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page, where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.